up and welcome, I'm the one and only West Coast King, and welcome to a brand new series on this channel. It will be replacing the Newcastle Prestige series, which is done and gone. Won't be going back there again. I listened to all your comments from the video that I made kind of announcing the retirement of that series, and yes, you agreed it was too complicated, a little bit boring, and you wanted to see me go back to something at least including the MLS, whether it was a standard MLS series or whether it was just a series that had the MLS included in it. I've listened to you. I'm excited about that, actually. I'm very happy to go back to the MLS, and I will be controlling an MLS team for this series. However, this series is not going to be a standard Major League Soccer league series, if you will. So not just a standard MLS series. Instead, what we're going to be doing is we're going with the other idea I had before we started the Prestige series with Newcastle, and that is the League of the Americas. And we'll be participating in a league that includes teams from Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, and the United States. Now, this, of course, is going to be the get to know you episode, as I like to do when I start a new series. We're going to be going over all of what's going on. So, what teams will be participating, because not all of the teams from every one of those leagues can fit into one league. So, not all of the teams are going to be participating. We'll see which teams are, where we're going to be participating, and of course, at the end, we'll have to take a look at the team that I'll be controlling and kind of see what we want to do starting off in the first transfer window. So, here is the league, the top flight, Ligue 1, and I have decided to do this in France. I've decided to take all the teams and move them to France, and the reason for that is because I wanted a league that not had only just a league where I could put all the teams, but also that had a second division so we could get that promotion and relegation battle going as well. And I think throughout this series, that's going to be a major highlight, and see kind of what teams do well, which leagues kind of show well in this new Super League that we're doing, and kind of which teams go up and which teams go down. So that should be pretty interesting, and I'm very excited to do this. Now, I have removed all of the teams from France. No French teams are remaining in this league, and because of that, I'm not going to call it Ligue 1 anymore. I'm actually going to call it Ligue 1 and Ligue 2. I just feel it would be weird to call it Ligue 1 when there is no French teams left. And I haven't removed them all from Europe, by the way. I've moved the best teams from France, actually just 4 of them. I've moved PSG, Monaco, Lyon, and Marseille. I've moved them to Italy just so that we can still get a bit of a French feel in there. I felt Italy was the next weakest league, and I wanted at least some French representation left in Europe, so I have moved a couple of teams over there. And also, because we are now in France with all of these teams, that means we will be competing in Europe. So there will be Champions League football, there will be Europa League football, and if any team from these two leagues, from these teams here, if any of them go on to reach glory in Europe, I would be supremely impressed. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, and honestly, that's not the main point of this series. I wanted a league where all of the leagues of the Americas could compete. Now that they'll also be competing in Europe, it adds another element, but I'm not sure how well they're going to do. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe some of these teams do have what it takes to conquer Europe. Maybe a couple years down the road, they'll bring in some other players and they can do that. But for now, not sure how well that's going to go. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and meet the clubs that will be participating in this series and kind of the breakdown of where they all came from. So starting out from Argentina, in the top flight in Ligue 1 will be Boca Juniors, San Lorenzo, River Plate, and Racing. From Brazil, we have Palmeiras, Mineiro, Sao Paulo, and Santos. From Chile, we have Colo-Colo, and from Colombia, we have Atlético Nacional. From the Mexican Liga MX, we have Tigres, Monterrey, Club America, Pumas, and Guadalajara or Chivas. And then from the United States, representing the MLS will be the LA Galaxy, FC Dallas, New York Red Bulls, Seattle Sounders, and Toronto FC. And in the second division, representing Argentina, we have Independiente, Rosario Central, and Newell's. From Brazil, we have Cruzeiro, Grêmio, and Fluminense. From Chile, we have Universidad and Universidad Católica. From Colombia, we have Independiente Medellín and Independiente Santa Fe. From Mexico, we have Pachuca, Santos Laguna, Querétaro, Club León, and Cruz Azul. And from the MLS, it's going to be Houston, Sporting Kansas City, Real Salt Lake, Portland, and Orlando City. Now, the one thing left to address before we wrap up this episode is which team I'll be using in this series. I did say it is going to be an MLS team, and it really came down to 2 of the teams that are currently in the top flight in this league. I was stuck between FC Dallas and the New York Red Bulls. Now, FC Dallas is a team that a lot of people keep recommending whenever I ask for a team to use in the MLS. FC Dallas always comes up, and it comes up a lot. So I know that is a popular choice, at least with you guys. New York Red Bulls, I was interested in them because they don't have any players that I've used before in FIFA 16, aside from a couple of minor appearances from some of the players in the US National Team series way back, like when FIFA 16 first came out. So it was between those two teams, and I decided to go with you guys, and I'm going to go with FC Dallas for this series. Again, it was the most popular choice, I think, by far. And this team, I've said it a million times, has a lot of really good young players. And in normal MLS rules, a lot of those players I wouldn't be able to keep on the team. I'd have to sell them off once they hit designated player status, if you're familiar with those rules from the MLS series that I wrapped up a little while ago. I wouldn't be able to keep some of the players. In this series, we have no transfer rules. There are no rules. I can get any players I want to as long as I have the funds to do that. That's one of the problems with using an MLS team. We have one of the smallest transfer budgets in the entire league. We'll work around that. I don't foresee that being much of a problem. I'm good with using small budgets. I have a lot of experience with that. So I'm really excited to use this FC Dallas team. And you can see the squad report rolling through on the side. You can see there's a lot of good players on this team, and I'm excited to get into working with them. Now, because we don't have any transfer rules, we need a little bit more money, so I will be participating in a preseason tournament. Hopefully, that will bring us in. If we win the whole tournament, we get about $4 million more in, which will double our transfer budget. So that will be nice. But here's a look, in my opinion, at the best first choice starting 11 that we have here with FC Dallas. Maybe you guys disagree. Whatever you guys see that I can maybe change around. But I really do think that this is probably our best starting 11. And again, we're going right into a transfer window to start this series off because we are starting in Europe. So whatever suggestions you guys want to leave in the comments below of this first episode, maybe you see a spot where we could improve. I think probably center back needs to be a spot we address. Left back for sure needs to be addressed. Maybe right back, but I don't really want to replace Zach Lloyd. I know he plays center back, but at 5'9", I don't really want to play him at center back in Europe. That just does not seem like a good idea to me. But either way, whatever you guys see, I'm open to suggestions. So the one last thing I want to show you before we ended this first episode is our transfer budget. It's $3.5 million. Not a lot of money. I think there are only two teams to start out with in League One that have less money than the MLS teams, and that is Pumas from Mexico, and then the team from Colombia, Atlético Nacional. I think those are the only two teams that have less money than all of the MLS teams, and all of the MLS teams start with the same transfer budget, as always is in the MLS. So that is it for this episode. I think I covered everything. Again, much less complicated than the Newcastle Prestige career. But if I did leave anything out, or if you have any other questions about how this league is going to work, make sure to let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible before we get into the first actual episode. So that is it for this one. If you did enjoy it and you're looking forward to this series, make sure to let me know by leaving a like below. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you when we come back for the first real episode of the League of the Americas. See ya.